Welcome back, Gadgeteers. So, as you can see, we are in Windows 10. I know, terrible, isn't it? Meh, it's not that bad. I use it to play my games. You know, Microsoft decided to release Windows 11, and I was really quite surprised at that because my thoughts were that Windows 10 was going to become the equivalent of OS 10 on Apple systems, which became Mac OS, and then we just continue to roll updates out. So if you're on a Mac and you check it, it'll tell you it's 10.15 or 10.16 or whatever update you happen to have. And I kind of like that because you get the base operating system and then you get updates. Some are major updates, some are minor updates, and I thought that was a good idea. But Microsoft disagrees, and they need to make some money. So they will be releasing Windows 11. But the requirements for Windows 11 are very strict, and Microsoft also has taken away their Windows 11 compatibility tool checker. So I'm going to show you something that you can use that will help you figure out if your system is compatible, because the Microsoft checker apparently had problems and it was not accurate, so they took the tool down. Before we do that, I want to show what the specifications are, and I realize you probably think I'm holding off to the end to run this checker that I have, but I am not. I just wanted you to see what the requirements are, and then we'll see how they match up with the tester that I have found. So processor 1 gigahertz or faster with 2 or more cores. Most people could meet that. 4 gigabytes of RAM, again, most people can meet that. 64 gigabytes or larger storage device, and they really want it to be an SSD, so we'll get into that. System firmware, UEFI, secure boot capable. It has to have a trusted platform module version 2.0, compatible with DirectX 12, WDDM 2.0, high definition 720p that is greater than 9 inches diagonally, 8 bits per color channel. And this is the part that does bother me quite a bit. Windows 11 requires you to have a Microsoft account. Windows 11 Home Edition requires internet connectivity and a Microsoft account to complete device setup on first use. You didn't have to do that before. You could just create a local PC account, which is what I did with my Windows 10 installation that we're running now. So what tool did I use to determine if these particular requirements were met on my ThinkPad P1 laptop? If you go to github.com rcmaehl/why not win 11, right up here, there is a tester, and I want to show you. Here's the source code, which is really cool. If you continue to scroll down, you'll get a screen that shows you what it'll look like when the test is actually run. And then if you continue to scroll down, you'll see some downloads. One is the latest stable release, and the other is the latest testing release, along with the system requirements that you need to meet to be able to run this tester. Now, I ran the stable release, and it didn't run correctly. So I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and download the latest testing release. And it actually did run correctly for me. And I want to show you what it came up with. So here is my Windows 11 compatibility check on Why Not Win 11. So it says architecture is met, 64-bit CPU and OS, boot method, UEFI, CPU compatibility, listed as compatible, 6 cores, 12 threads, frequency. This one took a little while, DirectX plus WDDM2. So when you run it, It may seem like it's locked up or frozen, but it's not. It's doing a check for these particular requirements. So give it a little time. Um, Mine took maybe a minute, minute and a half. So you just have to be patient. The disk partition type, GPT detected, RAM installed, 32 gigabytes. Secure boot is enabled. Storage, 240 gigabyte SSD. Does meet the requirements. And TPM version 2.0. This may be the trickiest thing for us to meet with all of these different requirements. And if your computer's newer, it's probably going to have a TPM 2.0 chip. And I believe it's something like Trusted Platform Module or something like that. Supposedly, it manages secure storage of encrypted keys, and the TPM 2.0 is required. So you may have 1.2 or 1.0 if you have an older computer, but if you run this tool, hopefully it will tell you where you're at. I don't see it right now, but yeah, here it is. Results based on currently known requirements. So the requirements may change. You may run this tool and all of a sudden the requirements change. So be aware of that. And this is not a Microsoft tool. It is open source and freely available. Open source. And you can run it on your system. I want to show that URL again one more time. And while we have that up, I thought we'd chat for a minute. So my general impression is Microsoft is releasing Windows 11. There's a couple of reasons. One, of course, is to increase revenue. Now, you say, yeah, but how do they increase revenue if everybody has Windows 10 and when they migrate, it's free? That's a very good point. But there are many people who still do not have it who, if they wanted to go to Windows 11, would have to purchase a copy. Is that really that much revenue? Probably not. So, what other reasons might they have? Well, maybe Windows 10 is just a little bit long in the tooth, and they're thinking, okay, look, here's the latest technology, and we simply have to move forward in order to be able to do the things we want to do on modern computers. You know, back when Windows 95 was released, it kind of was the same thing. You could run Windows 95 off of a Windows 3.1 computer, but it was kind of slow. You know, there was an expectation that you would have a certain level of hardware to be able to run it. Windows XP was another example. Yes, there had been Windows Vista and Windows 2000, but XP was quite a changer for the computing environment. And I really think that that's what we're looking at. I can't say, honestly, how much of the code Microsoft is tossing out of Windows 10 because to create a new operating system altogether, you would think, okay, this is brand new from the ground up, but it really isn't. I mean, anybody who does programming knows that that code base still comes from Windows 10, but many of the elements are going to be replaced. So the stricter hardware requirements really are to get more bang for your buck. That is my opinion. The other thing they can do from a legal standpoint is increase the requirements. So you have to have a Microsoft account now. Uh, you have to be logged into the internet in order to install Windows 11. I don't know if you need to stay that way once Windows 11 is installed, but the Microsoft account actually is a smart move for a company looking to make money because they want to know every computer that has Windows 11 installed. And basically, short of having some other version that's illegal, you will have to create a Microsoft account if you haven't already to install Windows 11. So they really want to know how many people are using Windows 11. And the sad thing is, they'll know a lot more, kind of Google style. They'll know who is running it, where they're running it, what they are running on that system, how long it's up, what kind of updates it gets. all these different factors that I think most people don't think of, because they think, well, if Windows 11 becomes the requirement for me to run a certain game or run a certain application, like the new Office or whatever, of course I'm going to go to Windows 11. And my general opinion is I'm probably not going to bother with Windows 11 for some time. Windows 10 is supported until 2025. So if you're seeing this information come out and you're having a panic attack because you're thinking you're going to have to upgrade all your systems to Windows 11, that is not the case. You have 4 more years, but usually what happens as time passes, more applications require Windows 11 as time goes on. So when we get close to that 2025 mark, many applications will require Windows 11. So that means they will require a system that can run Windows 11. If your system doesn't pass this tool checker, this tester, number one, that doesn't mean anything, because this is an independent open source tester. So there's no guarantees. Number two, the requirements could change. So don't panic. Usually, Microsoft's very good about compatibility. I think they're really stretching their neck out a little bit because they want to move forward the PC community into this new, cool environment. And they know in order to do that, there's a lot of different PCs they're going to have to say no to that are on Windows 10. And anybody who's running Windows 10, they're just scratching their head, say, I just bought this PC last year or 2 years ago. I don't think I should have to replace it. The system I'm running here, I believe I bought in 2018, and it may have been a year old before that, but it still runs beautifully. And I really would not want to have to replace it. Matter of fact, again, I wouldn't. I would just continue running Windows 10 until the usefulness of this computer is no longer worthwhile. And the other thing is, I'm almost always in Linux now. I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys much about that, but I've been using the Linux apps a lot. So instead of saying, well, I wish I had Photoshop, or, I could use Office or whatever, my go-to apps right now are GIMP and LibreOffice and a couple others, but I've been making a ton of documents in those 2 applications. And as you would expect with any application, the more you use it, the better you get at it, the less difficult it becomes. So my base of operations is in Linux, and I don't really have that many games. For you out there who are gamers, I understand if you're in a predicament, but again, just give it time. Let's see what Microsoft comes up with. Oh, I wanted to mention their tool. I think I already said, actually. Their tool is not available right now because it was unreliable. So it was telling people that their PC couldn't run Windows 11, and then in a paragraph down below, it would say it could run Windows 11, but it can't for a reason. But it wouldn't give the reason. So a lot of people were getting angry, and here comes somebody with open source, and they create a tool that pretty much does what Microsoft needed in the first place. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe. I'm still around. Things are going pretty well health-wise. Most of the time, things are stable. So, like, subscribe, drop me a comment. Windows 11 is a controversial subject right now, and I really like to hear what you think about it. Are you going to switch to Windows 11? Again, I'm not, but I want to hear what you'll do. Thanks for watching.
This video was made possible with support from viewers like you. If you find this video useful, consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/fastgadgets.